Welcome back to In the Kitchen with Daddy. Today we are cooking with a new cook, Shaniyah. Say hi. We had dinner yesterday, and we had Popeyes, and the kids were oohing and eyeing over the biscuits, and I was like, yeah, we can make those. They're easy, and they quite frankly taste better, made from scratch. But we're going to use Biscuit. Very simple recipe, only 2 ingredients. So we're going to use 5 cups of Biscuit, 2 1/3 cups milk, and we're going to butter the top of the biscuits as we put them in the pan. So we're going to combine the Biscuit. So go ahead and get the pan of Biscuit, Shaniyah. And we're going to add the milk. And then we're going to combine them. We'll be right back. So go ahead and combine the Biscuit and the milk. When you combine it, it's going to be slightly sticky. We don't want it to be soupy. If it happens to be soupy, you're going to need to add more Biscuit. So it should be stiffening up, right? Becoming harder to stir. So dig all the way down to the bottom. Oh, put some muscle in it. Okay, so we're going to prepare our surface just to make this clean up a little bit easier. So go ahead and put that bowl to the side for a moment, Shaniyah. And then we're going to take some parchment paper. And we're going to spread parchment paper out over our work surface. Okay, now that we have our parchment paper spread out, we're going to sprinkle Biscuit powder on the parchment paper so that the dough won't stick. So go ahead and get the extra Biscuit, and you want to grab big handfuls and sprinkle it out over your work surface. Okay, now we're going to spoon our dough out. So you want to scoop your dough out of your pan onto your parchment paper. Take your hand and push it off. Yeah, you want to get the rest of it. Scoop it out of the bowl. All together, one big pile. And that was our oven preheating to 400 degrees. And what's the first thing we do before we start cooking?
Wash our hands.
All right, so we always cook with clean hands. Okay, now that we have a nice ball, we're going to knead the dough. So the first thing you're going to do is like put the palm of your hands into it and push forward. Then roll it over, palm of your hands. That's this part of your hand. You're going to push down on it as hard as you can to flatten it out. You got to flatten it out. There you go. Now bring the ends in. All right. Knead it again. Turn it, and then knead it. Bring your ends in. When it start getting long, bring your ends in. All right. Go ahead and knead it again. And again, you just want to do it about 9 times. It creates like a layer in your biscuits. And now we're going to roll the biscuits out to about a 2.5-inch height. We'll be right back. Okay, now we have a nicely kneaded ball of dough. So now we're going to roll it out to about a 1/2 inch in height. We have floured the table, and we pre-floured our rolling pin so to lessen the chance that it'll stick. So go ahead and start rolling it out for us, Shaniyah. So now that we have our dough rolled out, we're going to cut out some biscuits. So go ahead and get the cutter and start near the edge. There you go. And you want to spin the cutter. And then you want to lift it up. And then you want to pick your biscuit up and add it to the pan. And you want to keep cutting until we get as many of this out of this as we can. I'm going to separate them a little bit because they're going to grow when they cook. So Shaniyah was able to get 3, 6, 9 biscuits out of her first roll of dough, but it's still plenty dough left. We don't want to throw away. So what we're going to do, we're going to ball that up. So go ahead and ball that up and stuff it back into a ball. And then we're going to take our rolling pin and roll it out again. Alright, it looks like it's about a 1/2 inch thick. We don't want to flatten it too much. And then we're going to start cutting some more circles. And then you continue and you repeat this until you get down to an amount of dough that's too little to use your cookie cutter on. And then we just kind of just ball up the last little piece and just add it to your pile and as your tasting piece when it's done. So we're going to finish getting these cut out and we'll be right back. Okay, we have our biscuits all cut out. So now for the final step, we're going to take some butter and we're going to brush some butter across the top of each one of the biscuits. So go ahead and do that, Shaniyah. Nice healthy coat. Normally I take some butter that's been melted for about 20 seconds or basically softened, and I'll add butter to the dough to give the dough a buttery taste. So that's an option. And then we're going to paint the top also. That'll also add to the golden brown and the buttery taste at the end. Shaniyah went a little butter crazy on me, but we'll see how that comes out. So we're going to put this in the oven now at 400 degrees for about 8 to 10 minutes or until it's golden brown. Again, keep an eye on them. They're going to cook very fast. So you want to stay near the kitchen and make sure you're keeping an eye on them. We'll be back. Well, they're out of the oven. And now for the all-important taste test. So go ahead and give them a try, Shaniyah. Nice and moist. So how is it?
Delicious.
Delicious. So remember, if you want us to keep bringing you videos, click like.